Deep in Buenos Aires, where urban bustle coexists with stories that refuse to die, stands the San Nicolás Hospital, today commonly known as the Cursed Hospital. Behind its imposing architecture, wrapped in 1920s Art Deco style, lies one of the country's most unsettling stories, where the boundary between science and superstition blurred into a dark legend nourished by unresolved crimes and inexplicable supernatural events. The hospital opened its doors in 1928, promising hope in a time of epidemiological crisis. However, from its earliest days, fate seemed determined to twist its destiny. In its basement, patients with infectious diseases were secluded, isolated from society, and nearly forgotten by the staff. Witnesses from the time recount that, in the stillness of midnight, whispers, cries, and even screams of anguish echoed through the walls. It was believed the desperate urge to escape drove patients mad, but soon, workers began to suspect something else was lurking in the shadowy, damp hallways. In 1932, the first incident sowed true terror. Dr. Rodrigo Arauz, one of the hospital's most renowned doctors, vanished without a trace after descending to the basement to assist a critical patient. His case was closed as a voluntary departure, but rumors swirled that he'd been seen walking beside a hooded figure before disappearing into darkness. That same year, and throughout the next decade, at least 5 patients and 2 nurses went missing under similar mysteries. Throughout the 1940s, the hospital became the site of multiple clandestine medical experiments, secretly sanctioned by powerful figures desperate for epidemic solutions. Among the hidden medical records are names of patients whose bodies were never returned to their families. Local newspapers began to spread stories of the doctor of the forbidden wards, a man seen only at night whose forensic reports bore illegible signatures. The files, filled with crossouts and censored sections, fueled the hospital's growing dark legend. Fear soon became routine for its staff. Some claimed to feel an ever-present force behind them during night shifts. Others swore they saw shadows moving down the corridors or found doors open moments after closing them. Most chillingly, hospital security cameras often captured strange, distorted images, human figures blending with animal silhouettes and unexplained flashes of light. Patients, far from getting better, began experiencing panic episodes, describing strange rituals performed at their bedsides and hooded beings whispering names in unknown languages. In 1953, horror escalated. A wave of anonymous complaints reached management, alleging forbidden rituals in the basement and that the screams of the sick were silenced by force. Police intervened several times, but the records of who entered and exited were always inconsistent. One night, a group of officers managed to access the oldest part of the hospital, known as the Cursed Ward. What they found was terrifying. Blood-stained bandages, symbols carved into the walls, extinguished candles, and an icy atmosphere inexplicable given the summer weather outside. From that moment, the hospital's reputation collapsed. The community began to avoid it, and the few remaining patients demanded transfers. Yet, neither administrative closures nor renovations could stamp out the strange occurrences. San Nicolás Hospital was marked forever, wrapped in a haze of mystery and terror that, to this day, still attracts paranormal investigators, journalists, and curious souls searching for answers in its abandoned hallways. In the collective memory of Buenos Aires, few stories evoke as much unease as those involving the cursed ward of San Nicolás Hospital. After the events of 1953, the legends about this section grew and branched out. Almost no one dares to enter, especially after dark. What was once a recovery area for critical patients became a stage where fear seemed to materialize in every corner. Walls etched with strange symbols, doors creaking without wind, and the constant feeling of being watched from shattered mirrors. Direct witnesses recount that certain patients were taken there under mysterious orders. Whispered conversations spoke of the faceless doctor, a white-coated figure who never revealed his face. It said his presence was preceded by intense cold, and the air became thick and electrified, as though threatening anyone who dared to resist. One former patient interviewed years later recalled that during his stay, he felt he had to fight not only to survive the illness, but also to stay sane amid visions of shadows, moving behind curtains and deep voices calling his name when he was alone. The 1960s saw an increase in reports of paranormal activity. Nurses and doctors working night shifts refused to pass through the ward despite orders from above. Stories of gurneys moving by themselves, flickering lights tracing human silhouettes, and objects disappearing inexplicably became commonplace. Some more extreme accounts claim that the shadows took on physical form, attacking anyone who entered the space to investigate or move patients without permission. Police records and hospital files always repeat the same phrases. No evidence found. Incident could not be verified. Case closed due to lack of credible witnesses. But rumors persisted and only grew stronger. A recording from 1967, made by a journalist attempting to spend the night in the ward, features harrowing screams, hurried footsteps, and what seems like a child crying behind a double-locked door, despite no pediatric patients being present in that area. The climax came in 1976, when a nurse named Salas was found dead in the basement. Authorities listed the cause as cardiac arrest, but inexplicable marks in the room and on her body told another story. Since that night, new generations of hospital workers have chosen not to speak of the matter, and the guards who patrol the hospital swear they have seen her silhouette roaming, searching for help in the half-light. Over the decades, San Nicolás Hospital became a magnet for paranormal investigators, sensationalist journalists, and curious thrill-seekers willing to challenge their fear. Between the 1980s and 2000s, multiple teams attempted to document what occurred in the cursed ward, but most left the building before finishing their work, many afflicted by panic attacks, unexplained cramps, or in extreme cases, sudden fainting. The few who managed to record audio and video presented disturbing evidence. Voices at impossible frequencies, faces appearing and vanishing in the nighttime fog, and objects moving with no physical contact. From the 1990s onwards, coverage in mass media and internet forums gave new fuel to the legend. An independent investigator published a report on the correlation between disappearances and temperature changes in the ward. Police repeatedly tried to put an end to unauthorized expeditions, but secrets kept leaking out. Hospital management restricted access to certain areas, to little effect. Testimonies continued to multiply year after year. In recent times, younger workers, with no prior experience regarding paranormal events, have reported feeling pressure in their chest, hearing their names whispered by unfamiliar voices, and encountering alarms being triggered without reason. Security camera recordings reveal shadows moving in impossible directions, doors opening and closing by themselves, and lights flickering to the beat of inaudible chants. In 2019, a documentary team managed to capture footage of a female figure walking the empty hallways. The apparition vanished after passing through a wall, leaving behind wet footprints that evaporated seconds later. Social media viralized the video, with thousands of viewers claiming to feel strange energies when replaying the recording. The hospital tried to deny the event's authenticity, but media pressure forced an internal investigation that, like before, ended without explanation. Today, San Nicolás Hospital remains closed to the public, yet its story is more alive than ever. The blend of unresolved crimes, forbidden rituals, and paranormal phenomena keeps attracting those in search of answers, or simply those who want to experience the terror of confronting the inexplicable. What began as an institution meant to save lives evolved into a symbol of mystery, death, and inexplicable phenomena. Every generation adds new tales. Workers quitting after a single night shift, police who avoid patrolling the area, and tourists claiming to have felt an invisible hand inside the building. Even agnostic scientists investigating the site have admitted that some variables are beyond their control. Despite municipal attempts to demolish the structure and build new complexes, strange accidents always seem to halt the work. Machinery failing without cause, workers suffering panic attacks, or an inexplicable temperature drop forcing evacuation. Locals believe the hospital does not want to be forgotten, and that the pain, fear, and injustice once rampant there remain embedded in the very bricks and air. Multiple multidisciplinary teams, from mediums and parapsychologists to architects and social psychologists, have tried to explain the phenomena. Some speak of residual energy, others of interdimensional portals opened by rituals of old. There are theories about medical experiments gone wrong and secret pacts to cover up crimes committed within these walls. The truth, as with all great myths, is elusive and changes form depending on who tells it. Meanwhile, many people feel an inexplicable attraction to the place. They seek answers, redemption, or simply the thrill of confronting their deepest fears. For some, the hospital stands as a monument to human resilience. For others, it's a living warning of what happens when science, power, and desperation intersect unchecked. The legend of San Nicolás Hospital is alive, more relevant than ever, in each testimony, every recording, and every new story that surfaces. Would you dare enter the cursed hospital? If this story left you intrigued, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss upcoming episodes. Tell me in the comments which other paranormal or criminal cases you'd like me to investigate. Your participation keeps this community of truth seekers and explorers of the unexplained alive.